What's up, guys? Welcome back to another build tutorial. Today we're going to be building the YouTube, I guess you can call it like their homepage, but it's basically the page that you see when you load up on your YouTube profile. It's going to have, and this is mine, kind of hard to tell, right? Maybe you thought this was YouTube right away. No, this is what I built. This is what we're going to build together. So, and I kept it simple. I wanted to keep this beginner friendly. I didn't want to do every single little feature. There's not a ton of JavaScript in this. It's mainly just HTML, CSS, layout, and I'll show you how I got the videos to look so real and perfect. Very easy. But yeah, so this is what we're going to be building here. So you can see we've got the hamburger menu, the logo, search, just that navigation up here. I did the view for, at least for the navigation, just to keep things simple. I did the view that you get pretty much when you're not signed in. So this is what you see when you're not logged into your profile. And then there's a little sidebar down here for the home. And you'll notice that if we look at the real YouTube, this is me signed in, so it's a little bit different. We have create and the bell over here, but when we sign out, that changes to basically this layout. And then there's the sidebar. So you can see our sidebar has some different icons for the stuff because I don't have YouTube's icons, the exact ones they use. So I just, put some Font Awesome icons in there just to show you how to use Font Awesome. Basically, if you don't know how to use icons, we'll learn how to do that. And same thing up here. We use some Font Awesome icons up here. And then it's really simple, guys. From there, it's just the video. So it's just making the videos. I used Grid to display the videos here. So here's the real YouTube. And here's ours. So it's basically the thumbnail, the channel avatar, title, channel name, and how many views and how long ago. And we have all that same stuff right here, including the thumbnails. Obviously, when you hover real YouTube, you get the it turns into like a GIF and it starts playing the video. We're not going to have that because these aren't. I don't want to put these to the real videos. I've actually been getting in trouble, not in trouble, but when we built Netflix and Airbnb and stuff like that, a lot of those websites actually got flagged by Google because they thought that I was trying to impersonate those websites like maliciously, because people do that, right? If you type in the wrong address to a website, like one letter off, sometimes it takes you to a real website where some programmer or web developer cloned the real version, but like really when you enter your info in there, they're just stealing your information. I've been getting that a lot, so that's why I don't really post these live anymore, because Google basically flags me. And then I actually got a strike on this YouTube channel because one of our clones was too perfect to the original, and they were like, yo, you're impersonating, like, don't do that. And then I had to appeal it. It was this was months ago. I never said anything about it, but be careful when you're cloning stuff like this, guys, even if it's just for your portfolio. If it looks too good, like, it could cause issues. Like, it's best if you do it, like, put up here in the header and put some text maybe like right here, like, hey, this is a clone just for a project portfolio. I'm a web developer. This is not the real website. Some kind of disclaimer so that you don't get flagged and like Google doesn't like blacklist your website, because that will happen. Anyway, so we have I didn't do a ton of rows because YouTube will just do like pretty much infinite scroll. You'll just keep seeing more and more videos forever and ever and ever. And obviously we're not doing that. I did a decent amount of videos in a YouTube short area. So we have 6 videos up here. And then we go down. I did a YouTube short. Now, I did get the YouTube short icon. I'll show you how I did that. It says shorts, just like the real one. See, the real one should just say, it says usually just shorts with that icon. Yep, right there. And then 5 shorts around. And then you can notice that our sidebar and our navbar are fixed, right? They just like the real YouTube, they don't move. And then I just have 6 more YouTube videos down here after the shorts, because that's basically what YouTube is. It would just be, another section of shorts, more videos, more. So you can copy and paste. Once you have one video done, you can copy and paste and fill in the information and make as many videos on your little clone page as you want. But I only did that many. I didn't want to do too many. But yeah, guys, so this is going to be the project. It's going to be really fun. This is a good confidence booster if you're new and you're wanting to learn layout and you're wanting to make some kind of cool project that you can put on a portfolio or something, to be like, hey, I can at least do professional HTML and CSS work, and I'm still learning, but I can do this. This is a great little thing to learn. Doing companies that are known and huge and used every day. It's a good thing. That's why we clone Netflix, Airbnb, this YouTube channel, all those clones that I did, Microsoft. Go check those out too. But that's why I do it, because it's impressive to people if you can clone like real life giant company websites. All right, guys. So enough talking. Oh, and of course, just really quick, it is responsive. Of course, we make it more mobile responsive, just like the real YouTube. It goes down to 2. And then the sidebar goes away, goes down to 1 video, and then 2 shorts. So it is responsive. All right, so enough talking though. Let's go ahead and we'll get started actually building this thing. Really quick, guys, this video is sponsored by the Complete Web Developer course. This is my full stack course that teaches you everything from how the web works, how the internet works, to HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP with MySQL database. This course will bring you to the point where you can be a full stack web developer. You can build entire applications by yourself. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be a freelancer. You can get a 9-to-5 job if that's what you want to do. Right now, we're running the Black Friday sale. It's going to be going until December 5th, 2025. So for a limited time, this is 50% off for lifetime access. $49.99. That's normally $99.99. Or we have 25% off the monthly. If you just want to get started monthly learning, it's just $14.99 a month. If we go to buy now to the actual page, you can check out the whole course, and I'll put the link for the full course in the description as well. But here's where you can purchase them, guys, at the discounted prices. Again, limited time. This course has 65 sections, 444 lessons. Now, that seems like a lot, but every video that I made is purposely on average 5 minutes or less per lesson. So there's a ton of lessons, but they're all really small and bite-sized because that's the best way to learn. You don't want to be watching, 45-minute lesson videos like a lot of these other creators do on YouTube, and Udemy, stuff like that. Those courses are garbage, man. You're going to be falling asleep trying to keep up with all this new stuff that they're teaching you. Short bite-sized lessons is best. It's harder for the creator, but it's better for you guys. That's why I did it that way. The whole course, you can get through this in under 40 hours learning the entire full stack. Again, most courses are 40 hours alone of just JavaScript or just HTML and CSS, which is completely unnecessary. I try to get you through all the bullshit, cut through everything, get you on your way as fast as possible so that you can learn this stuff and be productive and actually make money from the skill. We learn by doing project-based learning. So everything that you see here, as you can see, that word project comes up everywhere. I don't do hours and hours of theory. It's project-based. So when we learn HTML, we start out by building a full multi-page website right out of the gate, just using HTML. When we learn CSS, we build little projects to teach you layout in little bite-sized ways so that you can learn layout really, really well with little CSS projects. And then at the end, we clone a big landing page, the HubSpot landing page clone, bringing all of our skills together, okay? We learn web design software basics. We learn version control, how to use Git, GitHub, how to deploy your websites. Then I teach you how to build a brand because you need to start. As soon as you know HTML and CSS, you don't have to have I don't really have a big YouTube channel. You don't have to have a YouTube channel and a course and all that. But I do recommend that you start recording yourself with videos, get some social proof of your skills, start learning how to build rapport with people, get comfortable talking to people, all of that good stuff. That's how you build a brand, guys. Today, that's how you get hired. You don't just be some random, Johnny random web developer who has a portfolio. If you have no experience, nothing behind your name, if you haven't worked for any big companies, that's not going to work. You need to build yourself into a brand. We go into that right after you learn HTML and CSS so that you can get started now. I didn't do that till years into my web development career. Big mistake. I should have built this brand years ago. I'd probably be making even more money than I am now with it, even though it's still small, and I'd be even more well-known if I just started a couple of years earlier. We jump into JavaScript. We learn not only JavaScript, guys. If you don't know programming, you're going to learn all the basics of programming in the JavaScript course. Again, we're going to build some really nice little projects to help you learn it. We're even going to learn some object-oriented programming towards the end and some APIs, which you'll need to know. And then we do JavaScript form validation, stuff that you're really going to build in real life from scratch with JavaScript. We learn all of that. And then the final lessons are the PHP and MySQL, where we eventually are going to end up building a full stack content management system like a WordPress, where you can have blog posts, have different authors, have thumbnails, create posts, delete posts, have different permissions if you're logged in or not. It's going to be like a real website, okay? And then lastly, probably the best part of the course after you learn all that stuff is I teach you how to make money, how to actually turn all these skills into money, how to get a 9-to-5 job, how to find a job opportunity that's good for you as a beginner, how to design your portfolio for 9-to-5, what projects you need to have, how to build a resume. I actually show you the resume that got me hired. And it's still good today. The way that I built the resume is still the way you want to do it if you're brand new. How to find work as a freelancer if you want to go that route. And then you can preview a couple of these. Like, go ahead and watch the preview videos, guys. How to design your portfolio if you're a freelancer, because it's different than 9-to-5. How to get paid with people. How to make little contracts with people. Make sure you get paid if you're a freelancer. And then how do I make money as an entrepreneur? I teach you in this video how to create a business system that pays you overnight, whether you're working, whether you're sleeping, whether you're on the couch, whether you're playing Fortnite or Halo. I teach you how to make a business system, which is what you're looking at right now, so that you can make sales all the time. All right, guys. So again, this is 50% off for the lifetime, 25% off for the monthly, going till December 5th. So go ahead and check this out. Get this while you can. This offer is going away. Do not leave my offers up here. Other people try to create that thing called scarcity. When on the date where I say stuff is going away, like, it actually goes away. I don't play around. All right, guys, let's get started now with our project. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get started here. Let's get our project file set up. We got to add some fonts. We got to add some icons and stuff. So let's get all that set up now before we get into the main building. So I'm going to start a new project folder here. I'm just going to right click, hit new folder, and I'm going to say YT clone -clone is my project name. You can name your project whatever you want. And then I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code for this. So I'm going to open up a new window on my Visual Studio Code. And to open my project up, I'm just going to drag my folder right in there. You can also click into here. You can go to File, Open, and then go to Open wherever you are. I'm on Mac, so if you're on Windows, you can pretty much do all the same stuff that I'm doing nowadays. Mac and Windows are very, very similar. But, maybe when you make your folder, you save it in your C drive and you want to open it from there. So you'd go to File, Open, or Open Folder, and then go to wherever your project saved to. So let's go in here. We need an HTML. So let's do an index.html file. Of course, we need a CSS. So we'll say style.css. And then I need an image folder because we're going to have images, right? So I'm going to make an image img folder. And that's all we need in the files and folders area, just index.html styles and an image area. So in our index.html, let's go in there, and I'm going to hold shift and exclamation and tab. That's going to give me our basic boilerplate for HTML. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll name the document. The title is just going to be YouTube. So we'll say YOU, capital Y, TUBE, YouTube. And then what we'll do here is we need to add a few things. I guess first we'll connect our CSS style sheet. Let's go below the last meta tag here, and we're going to create a link tag. Now, you're going to be seeing me, guys. I'm going to type out the tag name or the beginning of a tag name, and then it's going to auto-populate like it is right now, and I'm just going to hit the tab button on my keyboard, and it'll give me the link tab that I want with the rel of style sheet. So you'll be seeing me do that little shortcut throughout here. You can type out the whole entire tags if you want to. If you're a brand new beginner and you just really want to do it on your own just for fun, go for it. But I'm going to be using the shortcuts on Visual Studio Code here. So we're going to link our style.css in the href of our link. And then what we'll do is we'll go into our body and we'll make an h1 tag, and we'll just say test. So we'll save that, and now we'll go ahead and launch this page live because I want to test out that our page is working and that our CSS is connected. So let's minimize this, and we'll bring it over here. We'll click Go Live. And then our little YouTube page here should open up. So here we go. And we have YouTube up here. We have test. So we know that at least our HTML is working. Now, to get that go live button here, if you guys are brand new and you don't have that, what go live does is whenever you make a update, so I'll do like a paragraph and I'll just say hello down here, and then I'll save the page. And you can save the page by going to file and save if you want. But what it does is as soon as you save updates, it automatically goes right to your page that you're building quickly. You don't have to refresh the page. And then you can also hit Control or Command S on your keyboard to do the save the shortcut way like that really fast. And you'll notice that when you need to save, that little dot, white dot is up here. It means you haven't saved yet. Okay, and then every time you save, it'll update your page right away. Now to get that go live button, click on this icon down here, the extensions icon, and you'll just want to type in the keyword live. And then live server will pop up. I already have it installed, but yours will say install here. Click install. It'll install it. It'll probably restart your Visual Studio Code, and then you'll be able to go live whenever you want. And when you click go live, whatever your default browser is what it's going to open in. I recommend your default browser being Chrome, so make it Chrome when you get to that point. But that's how you get that if you're wondering. All right, guys, so let's make sure that our CSS is working. So I'm just going to do a few things here. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go into my style.css file, and I'm going to do what's called a CSS reset, because you can see on our page here that by default, Chrome and all other browsers have default margin and padding. So that's why this is pushed down and into the side here. We don't want that. We want total control over the design, so we're going to reset all of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to style.css. I'm going to hold shift, and I'm going to make the asterisk, which is usually where the number 8 is on top of your keyboard. Asterisk in programming means select all. So we're going to do shift, asterisk, and then what we're going to say is we're going to tell our page we want the margins to be 0 by default, padding to be 0 by default, and we want box sizing to be border box. So what that does when we save is it takes away all the default margin and padding, and then box sizing border box takes away this weird property where in the future, if you're adding margin, padding, and widths to stuff, they'll just kind of be off is the best way to describe it. It'll do some math in the background that you don't want. So always make sure your box sizing is border box to get rid of that issue. We're not going to go more into it than that. So we saved our CSS. Looks like it's working. Just to show you as well, we can go to an H1 and we can say color red. And it's working because our style obviously went there. So our CSS is good to go. So that's good news. Now, the next thing that I want to do is we need to get our font. So the YouTube page itself uses Roboto as the Google font Roboto for their font. So we need to put Roboto font on our project, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. So I'm going to open up a new tab. Let's just make this full screen for now. We'll go to Google Fonts. And then what you'll do is you'll get to this page, and what you'll do is you'll make sure you click fonts here in the sidebar, and we want Roboto. So Roboto is pretty much the most popular Google font, has been for a very long time. It's usually number 1, but if you don't see it, you can go to search fonts up here and type in Roboto, and then there's Roboto. So we're going to grab that, we're going to click it, we're going to say get font here in the upper right, and then we're going to say click get embed code. And then we're going to see all these links over here first. We're going to copy that code, and we're going to put that in our HTML. So let's go ahead and we'll put that above our style sheet link. Boom. And that's going to link you using like an API to Google Fonts so that you can actually load the font. So you need that first. Make sure you get your links. And then the other thing that we need is just the font family Roboto with a fallback of sans serif. So I'll just copy this first line here, font family, and then go back to style.css, and you can just put it, we'll put it in the body. We'll say body. Everything in the body is going to have the Roboto font family. Save, and then we saved it. So now if we look, now we have Roboto. So again, if we take that away, let's pretend like we didn't do that. See, it goes back, okay? Go back to the Roboto font, save. Now we have Roboto, okay? The next thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to be using icons, and I'm going to be using an icon website called Font Awesome. So to get that, we can just go to our search bar again and you can just type Font Awesome. It'll be the first one that comes up here. And then I think I'm logged in. If you don't have a Font Awesome kit, then what you need to do is you'll click this up here, and then it'll just walk you through the steps of signing up with your email and your name and all that. And then you'll be able to download something called a kit. So if I go to your kits, if you click on your kits here, It loads it down here, and your kit is basically just another little link that you can connect to Font Awesome with. So if I click on my kit, it's going to give it to me right here. I've had this kit for years. It comes in JavaScript, JavaScript tags, but it's really just basically another API that'll connect you to all the Font Awesome stuff. So I'm just going to copy my kit. And again, you'll have to create a kit and sign up if you don't have one yet. Okay, just follow the on-screen instructions. But we're going to grab the kit, and then again, I'm going to put that in the head of my website above my style sheet. We'll put our little script tags with the Font Awesome kit, and then that'll allow us to use the icons. So what we're going to be using is when we go to search, we'll just type in like whatever we need, like a magnifying glass for the navbar. And then I'm going to always filter them by free because I don't pay for the icons. I just use the free ones. So I just click free here, and it'll just show me all the free ones I can get. You click on the icon, you can copy it, or you can go here to the color palette icon. You can make it larger, smaller, change the color, all of that. So we'll be doing that as we build. But as long as you copy and pasted your kit in the head of your document like I just did with that link, that's all we're going to do for now. You're good to go. All right, guys, so we got everything set up here. Now, let's make this official, and to do that, if we pull up the real YouTube, we have to make what is called the Favicon up here. We want to put that little YouTube logo up here where our YouTube is so that it looks legit, right? So that's called the Favicon, and we're going to do that. Now, that's a step that a lot of people skip, but whenever you build a project, guys, for your portfolio, always make your websites, even if they're not for, like, real clients or, like, real production work, like, put a favicon. These little things make a big difference. Like, it makes stuff look super legit, and it's always a good thing to do. So I'm going to show you how to generate a favicon using an online tool and how to add it into your HTML so that it displays up here in the next to the title. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to Google, and we'll just type. I'm just going to type in YouTube logo, and then search images. Actually, let's put it in there, YouTube logo, because we really just want that red play button, which is right here. So I'm thinking this would be it right here. So let's see if this is actually transparent. So I'm going to go to this one, just hit save image as, and I'll say YouTube Favicon logo. Save it to my downloads folder. Open it up. So it comes up, and it's not really transparent. It's got this stuff behind it. So what we'll do is I'm going to remove the background now. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go to a website called remove.bg. I'm going to upload image, and I'm going to go, and it's good that you're seeing this because this is what you have to do a lot of times is remove the background. So where did we have it? This is my original one. YouTube Favicon logo would be right here. So let's upload this. This is the one that we just saved, and we're going to get rid of the actual background. Cool. I'm going to click download, and this is just another online tool that I use, guys. So keep this bookmarked. Very good tool to remove backgrounds on stuff really quickly and for free. We're going to download the free version, which is 500 by 500. Okay. And now we have a truly transparent logo. So I can show you in the preview of the Mac. Right here. Now it's transparent, and it's exactly what we need, okay? So now we're going to use an online tool. We're going to I'm going to close this, go to Google again. We're going to say Favicon generator. And this is the one that I've been using for a very long time, realfavicongenerator.net. This has been around forever. So I'm going to go to this one. And then when you open the website, it says pick your favicon image right here. I'm going to click that, and this is our remove background favicon image that we just made. So I'm going to open that. And then it's going to give you a preview of what it's going to look like in Chrome and all the different things, which is exactly how we want it to look. So then what you're going to do is you're going to scroll all the way down here and click next. And then you're going to, first I want you to grab this bit of code right here, this very first link in step 3, where it says favicon 96 by 96.png. That's what we need for what we're doing here. Just that one. So grab that link, and then I'm going to put that as my very first link above everything else. Save that. And then the next thing you're going to do is we're going to download our favicon package. So click download. It'll download favicon.zip. And then we'll go here. and we'll unzip our file together. So we got Favicon zip. Okay. And then see how when you open the file, after you unzip it, it has the Favicon 96. That's exactly the one we need. So I'm going to drag this into my image folder. So right here, drag it on in. Now it's in my image folder. And now let's make this big. And we're going to go to our Favicon link that we just put here. So right here, our Favicon 9696 link. Now instead of 9696, we're going to actually put in the image file that it's under. So we're going to go into our image folder, and it's going to be Favicon 9696 is what we have it named, and we're going to save. And then once we save, if we go back to our page, here it is. We have our little YouTube Favicon, okay? So it's a little bit smaller than the standard one, but nonetheless, it's there. So, and you can do that with different, I think I have another one that I used for my actual project. That's the process. Let me go into my downloads folder. So yeah, I have my other one that I used for the other project. I'll just replace it. It's a little bit bigger. There we go. Now it's bigger. So I think I must have downloaded a different file the first time. I don't remember, but if you want yours bigger, just go back to Google Images and pick another one, a different logo that's a little bit bigger, and then it'll be big just like the original. Now that looks even closer, but you know the steps now, so you can change it if you want. Just go to the favicongenerator.net, download it, remove the background if you have to. All the same steps we just did, guys. That's how you make your favicons forever and ever, okay? Follow that workflow. All right, guys, so now let's actually start building this project out. So we're going to start with the navbar. So first things first, let's delete this H1 in this paragraph because that was just for testing purposes. Get rid of that. And then we can get rid of this H1 color red. Save, okay? And what we're going to build first is going to be the navbar. So we're going to build the navbar as if the person is not logged in yet. So we're going to have the little hamburger menu over here, the logo, search bar with all this in here, the microphone, and then this ellipsis over here, and the sign in button. So that's going to be what our bar is going to look like. And again, I kind of combined like aspects of not being logged in with logged in to build this project just to make it a little bit more beginner friendly, just to really benefit you guys. So it's not going to look exactly like YouTube, but it's going to be, it's going to be close enough to where we're going to be like not telling the difference at first glance, right? So yeah, we'll do this navbar first, and then after that we'll work on this little sidebar, but this is our focus right now. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a div with a class of container, and that's going to give us like padding for our whole design, this little container class. So we're going to say dot container right below our body tag. Okay, pretty much everything in our whole page is going to go in between this container div, all of the content that we make. And then what we're going to do is below the containers, we're going to have a header where our navigation is going to live. So let's make this big, and we'll say header. And then below that, we'll have our nav tag. So we'll say nav, and I'm going to give our nav tag a class of dot main nav. Notice what I did there. This is the shortcut to making classes, guys. You can just type out the tag name and then put a dot and then whatever you want the class name to be and hit tab, and it'll give you that tag with that class name. That's a little shortcut. Go ahead and do that with me, or like I said, you can type everything out and pause the video and do whatever you want, but that's how I'm going to do it. So we want it to be main-nav, our class name. And then in our main nav, we're going to start having our unordered lists and our list items for the section. So we're going to have like 3 different areas. We're going to have the logo and the hamburger, the input and the microphone area, and then the ellipsis and sign in. Those are all going to be like 3 separate menus that we're going to use Flexbox to put side by side. So, and we can just keep this up while we build so you can see what we're doing. So the first one is I'm going to have a UL, and it's going to have a class of nav-menu. And then within there, they're going to be in list items and LIs. So we're going to say LI. And then I'm going to give the LI a couple of classes. The first one is going to be nav-menu-li. And then I'm also going to give it another class of gray BG. So for another class, we put another dot, and it's going to be gray bg. And this is going to be, we're going to use these classes when we do the CSS for this part, so just bear with me for now. So there we go. We have an li with a class of nav menu li and gray bg for gray background. And you'll see what we're going to do with those in just a little bit here. So just copy what I'm doing, just bear with me, you'll see. And the next thing that we need to do is we need to get those solid bars. We need to get these bars, and we're going to use Font Awesome for that. We're going to put the icon right here. So let's go to Font Awesome again, and I'm going to hit search, and I'm going to select free, and then I'm just going to say bars. And then there it is, bars right here. I'm going to click the palette here, and I'm going to say I want the XL version. Copy, just click to copy it. And then you can go ahead and paste it right here in our LI and save. And then let's see if they are appearing. And they are. So there's our little navigation bars. Okay. And then we're going to have the YouTube logo next, like right next to it. So what we can do is we can copy this LI down. So Control C or Command C, Control V, Command V, whatever you want to do, put it right there. And because we're still going to have the LI and everything, but what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the gray BG class on this LI for our logo. This is where our logo is going to go. We're going to get rid of the icon. And what we'll do is we'll put our logo within a link. So I'll do an anchor tag, and I'll give it a class of main-nav-link. And then the link's not going to go anywhere. We'll just put a placeholder asterisk or hashtag in there. But within the link, we're going to have our actual image for the YouTube logo. So rather than getting, I don't want to take a bunch of time downloading images with you guys for this whole project. That's going to add another like half an hour to the project. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to have the completed file saved in the description for all the images from here on out on GitHub. You can download that GitHub file repository. So again, you'll find that in the description. And you'll have the logo that we're going to add. You'll have all the YouTube video images, all images for this project. Just grab them from there. Now, I am going to show you how I did certain things, just so you know how I did it workflow-wise. But as far as adding all of the images, I want you to get those from GitHub. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much grab all my images and just drag them over from my completed folder. And put them all here. This is like all the YouTube thumbnails, all the short thumbnails, all the avatars for the channels, all these images. Again, you're going to find them all in the GitHub for this. So go there or get your own images. I'm going to show you how I got all the images so you can just get them yourself if you want, but those are your choices, okay? So my YouTube logo is going to be in here, and it's the same thing, guys. Like just to let you know, like to get the YouTube logo, I literally just went to Google Images, typed in YouTube logo, and then we want the one with the button, this one right here. I think it was literally this file from Logos World. Right click, save image as. That's how you name it whatever you want, drag it to your image folder. That's how you get the logo. That's how you get all images for any project, right? Not too difficult, and I'm sure you guys know that, but all right, so anyway, we're back in our nav menu LI inside our nav menu link or our main nav link, and now we're going to put an image tag, and I'm going to go into my image file. And remember, I just dragged all my images over here to make it easy. So I'm just going to look up logo, and there we go, YouTube nav logo.jpg. I'm going to select that from my image folder, and then we'll just put YT logo in here for our alt text and save. And now it's super big right now, but we do have the YouTube logo that we need. So cool. Next up, we're just going to keep going across in order. So next, we're going to have another UL that's going to have our search input, a magnifying glass, and a microphone. So let's go down here. So this is where our first UL ends. We can go down here below here and just add another one. And the ULs are basically acting like little containers or little divs just to separate each part of the nav, right? That's why we're putting multiples here. So when we use Flexbox, they all go side by side. So once again, we'll have another UL with the same class as the other one. Just call it main-nav. And now we're going to do the search input and the icons. So what we'll do here is we'll have our LI again. And we're going to add a couple classes. We're going to have the nav menu LI class here. So we'll add that. whoops, let's just copy the whole class here. So copy the class, put it in here. We're going to have nav menu li on all of our LIs. Gray BG does not need to be here. This is in this LI is where our search box is basically going to go. So we're going to call it the nav search LI. And then within our LI, we're going to have a div, and it's going to have a class of nav search box. And then within there, we're going to have the actual input. So we're going to have an input with the type of text. And then we're going to have a class of nav search input. So nav dash search dash input. And then for the placeholder text, it's going to say search. So if we look at what we just made here, so this is what we're making now. We're just doing the raw HTML for all this. And this is what we have so far. Our little search bar. And now our logo is kind of throwing everything off, but right down here is our search bar. And then within the search input, within our, so this div of nav search box is going to contain both the search input and this little and the magnifying glass part. It all has to be in one div because we're going to combine them so that it looks like the real YouTube to where everything's just all connected like that. That's kind of like an illusion that we're using by putting everything in that same div together so that we can connect them. And you'll see what I mean here in just a second. So below our, within our nav search box div and below our input, we're going to make a button for that magnifying glass icon. We're going to put it in a button. So we're going to say button, and the button is going to have a class of magnifying glass container because that's where that icon's about to go. We're going to put that in. And now we got to, within the button, we're going to put the icon. So let's go back to Font Awesome, and we need to get a magnifying glass that looks as close to that as we can. So let's go and search magnifying glass, and then we'll grab this one. It's not going to look exactly like the YouTube one, but close enough. The YouTube one's a little bigger and fatter. But we're going to go to the palette here because we want this to be larger. Oops, we want to keep it open. And we're going to grab the FALG. We're going to do large magnifying glass and copy that. And then that icon's going to go right here in our button. Okay. And make sure it showed up there to see how they're side by side. Now you can already see now how we're going to connect them to make it look like that, which is pretty cool. And now we need the microphone. So the microphone is going to be another LI. So let's go. Here's the first LI for our search bar. So let's go below that one. And again, it's going to have the .nav menu LI class. And then this one's also going to have a couple more classes. It's going to have mic-bg and another class of microphone. That, again, we're going to be using all these other classes for our CSS. So just bear with me. Just copy them in there. And now let's go ahead and grab the microphone icon, or as close to one as we can get. I think we can get pretty much the same one here, or pretty close to it. So let's go back to Font Awesome, and we'll say microphone. See what we got here. And we'll go ahead and use this one. It's close enough, right? And again, for the microphone, we're going to use the large, the LG version of it. So we'll copy that. And we'll go ahead and throw it right here. Okay, getting there. So there's our microphone down there. And now we got the HTML for this area, for the search box and the microphone. Now we just need to do this ellipsis in the sign in area. Okay, so let's get that done. So we need an ellipsis. That's what that 3 dots is called. So let's go below. Remember, this is going to be a new section that's going to go side by side. So we're going to make another UL and give it the class of main nav. And then we're going to give it an LI with the class of nav menu LI. And then I'm also going to give this one a class of ellipsis in case I need to style it separately later. And I usually, like, for all this stuff, guys, even like if I'm not going to use the class names or if I never end up using them, I'm not bashful with class names. I give almost everything like its own unique class name, just in case I need to ever just single it out with CSS in the future. And a lot of times, to be honest with you, I don't always use all these class names. But I just do it to get it done so that the option is there for me to easily select stuff by class name. All right, so let's grab the ellipsis now. So we're going to go to Font Awesome. We're going to type in ellipsis, and we're going to get ellipsis vertical. And for that one, we're just going to grab, let's make this big. We'll just grab the standard size because I think the large one is a little too large. So we'll just grab the standard, paste that icon in here, save, make sure we have it. There's the ellipsis down here. There's 3 dots. So we need the ellipsis, and we just need like an icon for a user because then it has the little sign-in icon with the text of sign-in that we're going to write in ourselves. So let's just get a user icon as best we can. So let's just type user, and we'll just go ahead and grab this one. See this one Pro. Oh, we can actually, let's see, what do they have? Theirs is transparent. Okay. It's transparent and circle. And we're not going to be able to get that one that looks like for free. So let's just do this transparent one without the circle. And we'll do FA user LG. We'll make it large. So copy that. And let's just copy this LI down here before we paste anything. So it's going to have, let's get rid of this icon. We're going to have nav menu LI. And then I'm actually going to make another class on this one called sign in. So sign in LI, and then we'll have an anchor tag down here. It's going to be a link, and it's not going to go anywhere. We'll just put the asterisk, and then we'll give it the link class that we're using. So we're going to say class, and it's going to be main nav link, and then a separate class of sign in link. And remember, like all of our anchor tags are getting the main nav link class just by default, and then this is like the unique sign-in link just for the specific one. That's what we're doing too. So within there, we're going to have text that says sign in, but then above that, because the icon is first, is where we're going to put the user icon. So let's just paste our icon in there, FA large, and then let's go see. There it is. We have user sign in. User sign in. And then we'll put the circle thing around it. We'll do all that, but that'll be the CSS. So that's pretty much all of the HTML that we need to get started making the desktop version. Look how ugly this looks, guys, but we're going to add our CSS now and make all of this nav actually look like this. All right, so we'll get that started now. All right, guys, so let's add our CSS to make our nav bar go from this to this. And the first thing I want to do is actually, remember that container class we made? I want to go ahead and add styles to that. So let's go dot, and let's see. Go up here, container. I'm going to copy this, make sure I don't get a typo, and paste it. So dot container. And for that, we're going to say max width 1850 pixels for the ultra wide screens. We're going to say width 95%. And we're going to say margin auto. All right, so there we go. Now everything has a little bit of basically padding and margin built in with our little container class. That's what that does. Next, you see how we have the bullet points for our list items? We don't want that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to say all ULs, all unordered lists that I ever make on this page. I'm going to say list style type none, save, and then I'll get rid of those annoying bullet points that we don't want. Those are gone now. For any anchor tags I have, any links, I'm going to say text decoration none because we don't want them to have that underline. And these 3 styles, the container, the unordered list style type, and the text decoration none, that's stuff that I pretty much do universally on every design. So those are just really basic, like global styles that I pretty much always add. Next, let's go ahead and I'm going to make comments here. So to make a CSS comment, multi-line comment, you hold control question mark or command question mark on Mac, and that'll give you a couple of little symbols here, and in between the asterisk and the forward slash, the backslash, and the asterisk, this is a comment, so it won't be read by your page. And I just like to comment out the different sections of my CSS so I know where I'm at when I'm editing everything. So I'm going to say this will be the main navigation and header as well, because it's within the header. So we'll say header, slash main navigation. Okay. So I'll bring this down. And now let's say for our header. So I want you to remember that our navigation is wrapped inside of our header. So see the headers here, navigation is inside our header tags. And if we look at the real YouTube, if we scroll up and down or if we try to move, so let's go to one where I'm logged in. So when you move down, the sidebar and the header, they don't move, they're fixed. So we're gonna do that too. So we're gonna add some styles for that. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna select a header by its tag, by the header tag, and we're going to say, to make it stay where it's at, we're going to say position fixed, okay? So we'll say position fixed. We're going to say top 0, and that means stay at the very top of the page no matter what. We're going to say, and then we're going to center it by saying left 0, right 0. And then we're going to use something called z-index, and we're going to set that to 1,000. Now what that's going to do is, and you can already see stuff kind of just moved a little bit. When you scroll down, you want your header part to always be on top of whatever content's on the bottom so that it shows that the nav bar and it doesn't go underneath the videos. So that's what z-index does. It says, hey, make sure that this thing stays on top no matter what. And then lastly, we'll just add a background color here of FFF for white. Make sure it always remains white. Now, the next thing I want to do is fix our YouTube logo because it's super, it's like ruining the whole page right now because it's so ginormous. This giant thing. So we're going to make that just like 100 pixels. So what we'll do is we'll go to our image where our YouTube logo is. And I'm going to actually give this a class right after the alt text. This is our logo for YouTube. Let's give it a class of logo. And then what we'll do is we'll go underneath header and we'll just say dot logo. And we're just going to say width 100 pixels. Boom. And that should fix it. And there we go. Doesn't that look a lot better already? Now we can actually see everything. All right. So we fixed our logo. Now we're going to use Flexbox to make all of our navigation items go side by side. So let's go ahead and grab our main nav, which is attached to the main nav class is attached to our nav tags. We'll say dot main nav, and we're going to say display flex, align items center, and justify content space between so that they're as far apart as they can be within the container, and we'll save. And now you can see what that did. It spread everything out for us nice. And now we got to use Flexbox again to make sure everything goes side by side, especially right here. So each individual UL by us doing that just went side by side. But now the allies, we want them side by side as well. So we got to add some more flex stuff. So to do that, we're going to grab our nav menu class, which each of we have to grab our nav menu class, which is on each of our ULs themselves, and put those flex as well. So let's select that, and then I'll go right here, nav menu. And then for that, we're going to say display flex, align items center, and now everything is going to go side by side just like that, okay? And then we can put some spacing in between everything. So we can use a property called gap, which is like a built-in property for Flexbox to give us padding. And we're going to say gap 1 rem. And that'll space at least these two out. These are like inline with icons and stuff, so they're not going to behave perfectly with gap, but everything else will. All right. And then if we see what we have here, now, since we're using position fixed for our bar up here, and you can already see it starting to take shape, we just have to add a little bit more styling. It's going to ignore our container because when you use position fixed to keep stuff at the top, it kind of takes it out of the normal flow of the document, which means that our web page is pretty much ignoring this whole area right now as if it's kind of not even there, even though it is there. So it's going to make our container class where we had the padding on the sides not affect our nav bar, but that's okay. We can fix that really easily because we still want to keep the container for all of the other content. So we can fix that by just adding our own little padding, our own custom padding just for the top nav bar here. So what we'll do is we'll go to the nav menu, And I'm just going to, at the top here, I'm just going to say padding, 0 rem left and right, 1.5 rem top and 0 rem top and bottom, 1.5 rem left and right. And 1.1 rem is about 16 pixels. So 1.5 is going to put us at about 24 pixels of padding to the left and right. So if I save that, it's going to bring, at least for now, these two in right here. See how that worked? And then this will fix in a second. We have to add some styles to that. It'll bring it in just a second here. This is kind of going to be a little different. So next, what I want to do, these look good. So now we're just going to go left to right. And now, so if these are looking good and good to go, our logo and our hamburger menu, then the next thing we have to do is make this. We want to make it look like this with the mic over here and the search bar connected to the input. Okay. So let's do that. We'll go grab our class. So I think it's nav search box. If I don't, let's see. Yeah. So here, this is the logo and the hamburger menu. So down here, our other UL is the search box area. So let's grab nav search box div class. So let's copy that. And we'll say .nav search box. And for this, we're going to say display, flex, align items, center. And then we're going to give it a border of 1 pixel, solid, and a color of hashtag D3D3D3. It's like a grayish color. Okay, so you can see there's already a border now forming. That's all that did so far. And then our flex made it so that basically these two are kind of connected now. See how that did that? And then what we'll do is we'll say border radius 999 pixels to make it rounded. And then what we'll do is we'll say overflow hidden. Okay, so now we're getting when you say overflow hidden, it'll make it so that our border radius actually shows up. Well, it's kind of showing up now. And then we're going to say, we'll give it this whole thing a height of 35 pixels just to make it a little bit taller. So see how now our input box is in here. It's still in there. We'll fix that. But now it looks like, see how this is what the whole input's going to be, is like what we just made. See the outline of it? See, that's how I said we're going to basically create an illusion so that all of this stuff just looks like it's connected as one input box. So that's like half of it right there. So next, let's style the nav search input box itself. So we have nav search input class. So I'm going to copy that, and we'll paste that down here. Nav search input. And we're going to make it look like, basically going to make it all look like one now. So what we'll do is we'll say border none, outline none, save. So now we got rid of the border and any outline. So now it just looks like this whole thing is actually the search input. See how we did that? That's how you create stuff like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say height 40 pixels, and that'll just make it so the search bar our text looks like it's the whole search bar height now, pretty much. And then we're going to say padding 0 pixels, top and bottom, 12 pixels left and right. See what that did? Now it gave us some spacing on the sides so that our cursor, when we click in here, isn't right up against the corner. And then what we'll do on desktop, it's going to have a fixed width of 500 pixels. Okay. Because it's pretty long on the normal one too. Well, at least if we make it bigger, right? Fairly long. And then eventually we're going to adjust all this on smaller screen sizes as we go and do our media queries. So it might look a little funky on small screens now, but we will be fixing that. And then we'll say font size 16 pixels. Okay. And that just makes our search and everything else appear a little bit bigger. Now we're going to do the magnifying glass part of this so that it looks from that to this, where it's kind of like connected. And for that one, we're going to use our button class. Remember, we put in a button tag, and we used magnifying glass container as the class that we'll style it with. So let's copy that. And we'll go down here, say magnifying glass container. And for that, we're going to say width 60 pixels, height 35 pixels, border none. Okay, so look what that did already. Now it looks connected, right? And we're getting there.
And again, guys, don't let this stuff, if you're new especially, do not let this overwhelm you. Number one, I want you to understand that I built this whole thing off stream before I put it on YouTube. So like I don't have to sit here and think in real time and make this a 10-hour video or an 8-hour video. So, and second of all of this width, height, border, I've been doing this for years and years. As you get, you might, I remember when I was new, I was like, how the hell do people know this stuff? Like, how do you just know this off the top of your head? You end up using it like any other skill. You end up doing stuff so often, guys, that all of this just it's in your head forever once it's there. It takes time. You'll have to look up stuff a lot in the beginning, but the more stuff you build, especially when you build stuff on your own, the better it'll sink in your head. So you will get there. Just be patient. I promise you that. I was the worst CSS person in the world for a long time, and I eventually got to where I am now. Okay, so just be patient. Don't get overwhelmed. Now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna add a border left. So we're gonna say border left, and we're gonna say 1 pixel solid, and we're gonna have it be the D3 color. Boom. See how, and that just added a subtle little border left right here to make it look like regular YouTube. See that? Just a little detail that we're gonna put in there just to make it look really good. We'll give it a background color of hashtag F8, and then what we're gonna do is say display flex, align items center, justify content center. Now, what we did by doing that is we made the button a flex container, and we did display flex, align item center, justify content center. And what that does is it just ensures that this magnifying glass is going to be in the absolute middle of this little box that we just made at all times. That's what that does. It's a little trick to center stuff. Next, we'll do cursor pointer, and then so now when we go over it kind of looks like a button. And then the real YouTube one, when you hover over this, it kind of goes gray. So we're going to add a transition hover effect now so that ours does that too. So what we'll do is we're going to say transition, and we're going to say background dash color, and we're going to say 0.1 second ease in. And then we're going to copy our magnifying glass container text, and we'll go down and we'll just use the hover pseudo selector. So hover. And then now we can change the background color when we hover. So we can say background color, hashtag, it's going to be E5, E5, E5. Okay. So if we hover now, boom, just like the real one. Okay. So it almost looks identical. It's just that their icon's a little bit bigger and fatter than ours. But other than that, we're pretty good, right? Now, the next thing we have to style up is our microphone. So you see their microphone has like a gray background, and then it has a hover effect as well. So we got to add all that to ours and space it out a little bit. So let's do that. Let's grab our microphone class. So right below our search bar is the microphone, HTML. And we're going to grab the mic BG class. So let's copy that, because we got to give it that background, right? So we'll say .mic BG. BG is just, it's an acronym or short for background. You'll see that a lot in CSS, BG. So what we'll do is we're going to say background color, hashtag F8, F8, F8. Cursor pointer. Height is going to be 38 pixels. The width is going to be 38 pixels. And you can see now we got the gray background. Now we just got to center it and everything and add some border radius. So we'll say border radius 50%. That'll give us a nice circle. Okay. And then we're going to use that display flex trick, and it's going to make it go from the left outside corner dead center in here. So same thing that we just did. We're going to say display flex, align items center, justify content center. Boom. Now it's right dead center in the circle. So that little display flex trick is a great little trick to always center stuff. And now we got to add another transition. So we can do the same thing that we did here. Just copy this transition, put it down here, and then pretty much the same color and everything. So we'll select mic BG, and we'll say mic BG : hover. And then same thing, that E5 background color is what we want. So let's paste that in here. Boom. See that? It's like the regular one. Okay. Ours looks a little darker, but again, it's not going to be pixel perfect. It's going to be good enough, right? Cool. So that's that section. Now we need to do our ellipsis in the sign-in area. Last area here. So let's grab our, let's see, I think we put this under sign-in LI. So let's go down here, sign-in LI. So let's grab this, sign-in LI. Say dot sign-in LI. And we're going to give it a border. So we're going to say border, 1 pixel, solid, hashtag E5, E5, E5. Okay, just like that. Now you can see that little faint border that we have around here. And now we're going to say border radius 30 pixels. Give it some circular action there. And then we're going to give it some padding. We're going to say padding 0.5 rem top and bottom, so about 8 pixels. And then we're going to say 0.8 rem left and right, so about 12, 13 pixels of padding left and right. And see what that gave us there. Okay. And then we're going to do another transition for the background color. Paste that down here. And then below here, we'll say sign in LI hover. So sign in LI hover. And we're going to give this a background color of hashtag DEF2FF. So now we get a little hover action there. Okay, just like the real one. The real one does that too. It's like a light blue pretty much. Let's continue on here. Let's grab our sign-in link. So that was the LI we styled for the outside of all this thing. Now we're going to grab the link inside here, the stuff that's in the A. So sign-in link, and we're going to put a dot selector, paste that right there. And we're going to give it a blue color. So we're going to say color. We're going to do hex code 0760D4. Okay, and now that's blue, just like the real one. See that? Cool. And then it looks a little bold. Maybe say font weight bold here and make this bolder, because it looks like the regular YouTube one is kind of bold. Let's see. Yeah, it's bold. So I'll make ours bold like that. I'm going to say font size 14 pixels. And then I'll say gap of 6 pixels. Give it some padding. Internally, a little bit of padding there. And then we got to give some padding here between our sign-in link and stuff. So let's see if we can grab our sign-in LI. Just say margin 0 left and right, 1 rem, or 0 top and bottom, 1 rem left and right. And you can see, guys, our sign-in is still not coming over here, and I think it's because I made a little mistake. I think we actually have to put this padding not on nav menu, but on the main nav tag or class, so that it affects the whole thing. There you go. And then that should make it work, and it does. It brought it off from the side here. And now we just got to separate this ellipsis. So let's go look at our link, our sign in. Let's see. So let's just grab our ellipsis class that we put on our ellipsis, which is, again, that's just a fancy way of saying the 3 dots. And I'm going to, let's see, I'll put it below our mic stuff. Say dot ellipsis, say padding right, 1 rem, and that'll give it some separation. All right, so again, not pixel perfect, but pretty good. So there is our nav bar for desktop, and now we're going to go ahead, and the next part here, we're going to make it mobile. So when it goes mobile, what we're going to do, like I did with my final version here, is to make things easy. We're not going to make it like identical to the YouTube mobile, but what we're going to do is we're just going to make icons disappear as the screen gets smaller and smaller. So eventually we'll just have less and less icons so that they all fit up here with a smaller search bar. All right, guys, so now we got to make our nav bar mobile so that on smaller screens it shows up like this. So it's going to look like. So let's go ahead and get that done. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and make some media queries. And media queries, if you don't know, is how you make stuff look different on different size screens. So I'm going to make another comment here. This will be the media queries start for all of our mobile styles. And then basically how I did this, guys, and how I do all my media queries, how I decide what stuff is going to look like on what size screens, as I use the Google Developer tool. So I always right click, I hit inspect, and I just go through devices. I usually start at like larger size tablets, so like a Nest Hub Max, which is 1280 pixels, to see if stuff still looks decent, and it does. So then I just start working my way down. So the next size that is common would be 1024 pixels, and that's for like iPads and a little bit larger tablets. So I'll go like to the iPad mini. I'll make it go to 1024, and at 1024 everything still looks like it fits really nicely. So we're good there. And then I'll just tweak and go down from there. So I'm guessing that around 900 something pixels stuff starts to get cut off probably. And so if we go down to like 820, so like for example the whole sign-in area is cut off. So that's where the screen starts getting too small, and that's just basically the workflow that I use to decide like where I'm going to make my media query cutoff points. Is I just look at different devices. I start from whatever device or pixel size stuff starts getting bad, and I just start from there. Every project's going to be a little bit different if you're coding it from scratch on what your media queries are and how many you have, just based off of whatever you have to do based on the design. So that's the workflow. Again, I'm not going to go step by step through every single part of that. I've already done it once, and I just want to make like a nice cohesive video for you guys. So we're not going to make this again like a 5-hour tutorial. But that's the basic workflow. Start big and just I work my way down. I always build the desktop version of designs first, and then I immediately go section by section. I make it fully responsive section by section, because if not, if you do everything all at once, you're just going to have this big mess of a broken page when you go down to smaller devices, and it's way harder to make stuff mobile responsive when like every section is broken. You won't even know where to start because the whole page will just constantly be broken no matter what you change. So it's good to start desktop, work your way, and then make stuff mobile as you go and just work your way down. So let's go back to our code where our media queries are, and I'm going to make my first media query here. I'm going to say at media screen and we'll say max width. I like to use max width, and a lot of people do min width, but I like to do max width. Max width basically means what's the maximum width that certain styles are going to take hold, right? So everything from 1024 down, we're going to do certain styles. And again, we're doing the navbar now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my nav search input and make this a little bit smaller, because you can see on smaller screens it's so wide that nothing else can show. So that's a problem. So we're going to go to nav search input. I'm just going to copy all the styles down to my media query and delete what I don't need. And all we're really going to do is change the width of it. So the font size will be the same. Everything else is the same. Keep that. I'm just going to make the font size go to 400 pixels fixed. Or sorry, not the font size, the width. 400 pixels fixed, so it makes it a little bit smaller, makes more room for stuff. Our whole sign-in LI on smaller screens, it doesn't fit, so I'm going to actually delete it. So we're going to grab... not delete it, but just make it display none. So how you do that is we'll grab our sign-in LI, grab that, and just go here. And I'm just going to say delete all this and say display none for now. And then that's basically it for 1024 size. And now we're going to get smaller. I'm just going to copy this. Now we're going to go 1023 and below. So we'll say 1023 and lower. And then for that, I'm going to make the nav search input even smaller. I'm going to make it just 300 pixels instead of 400. Okay, see how that worked? What else? Our next size down is going to be 767, which gets us into like the normal iPad tablet size, or the iPad mini is what they call it today. So around 767, that's like the smallest tablet. Or sorry, 768 is the smallest tablet size. So we're going to do 767, because basically 767 and below is a good rule of thumb, is basically you're in mobile screen views now. You're in either landscape or portrait mode mobile screens for phones, okay? So what we'll do for that is we're going to make the nav search input just a percentage size instead of a fixed width. So we're going to say, we're going to go from pixels to 100% on those smaller screens. And so basically here, okay? So now you can see it's just going to take up 100%, or basically what that basically 100% means is take up as much space as you can without breaking the design. That's what that means. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually add back our little sign-in user. So we're going to add, instead of like the whole sign-in area like this, we're just going to have the sign-in user on smaller screens. And it's going to be right here. So to do that, we're actually going to add some HTML. So we can copy down this whole sign-in LI. Copy that down. And then now we'll have two, right? But we're going to get rid of one of them and just keep this. We're going to get rid of all the other styling. So how we're going to do that, we're going to change this class to sign-in. Instead of LI, we're going to just change it to sign-in user. And then we're going to get rid of the sign-in text. And now we'll just have a user icon there. And then we're going to, by default, so let's grab sign-in user now. Because by default on desktop, we're not going to show that. So let's go up here. We'll say sign-in user dot selector. And we'll say by default, hey, let's just display that none. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll say, we'll go down to 767 and we'll say, let's grab this, say sign in user display block. So on smaller screens, it'll show just like that. And remember, we did sign in LI display none up here, so it's not going to be there until we put the user back on the smaller screen sizes. We'll see how that's already kind of morphing there. And then what we'll do is we're going to make another media query. So let's grab this. We're going to go down to a couple more smaller screens and we'll be done. And remember, we're just doing this one section at a time, so it's not so overwhelming. So I'm going to make my next media query 657 pixels and smaller. And what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to grab the nav menu class again. So right here, I'm going to grab that, paste that in there, and I'm just going to change, I'm going to say gap 0 rem. We're just going to not do gap, and I'm just going to use regular padding. I'm going to say padding 0 rem, top and bottom, 1 rem left and right. And I'm going to grab the nav menu li class. So all of our LIs in our menus. So let's just copy it from here because I don't even think I ever used the class yet, but we'll use it in the media queries. And we're going to say nav menu li. We're going to use padding 0 rem, top and bottom, 0.4 rem left and right. Okay. Just to make it scrunched in a little bit more so that more stuff will show on smaller screens. And then we're going to change the font size to 14 pixels for everything to make it a little bit smaller for those smaller screen sizes that we're going to get into. And then we're going to make the microphone go away. So now let's just right click and inspect and actually go to like a smaller screen size that we're developing for. Okay. So like the XR. See how everything is looking right now. So we're going to we want the sign in to be over here. So we're going to get rid of the microphone. So let's just grab the microphone on small screen sizes, so like regular smartphones. I'm going to say dot microphone display none. Okay. And then we'll get rid of the ellipsis too, so it'll just be the sign in. So let's just grab our ellipsis class. Say dot ellipsis display none. There we go. And then if we get down, let's see, if we make it like a really small screen, like a S8, like a 360 pixel, it's not going to have enough room to show the sign-in guy, the sign-in user. So we'll just grab sign-in user. So actually, let's make another media query for, we'll say like 380 pixels and smaller. And we'll say sign-in, say sign-in user. And we'll say display none. It gets cut off anyway. And that's just for really small screens. Like if we go back up to like an iPhone, it'll be back. Okay. There we go. Cool. That's basically going to be it. So then we go landscape mode. And should probably, so let's do sign in LI. I'm going to move the sign in LI to display. I want to display the user. So let's see how this looks on like 820 pixels. Still looks okay. About 768. So now we just got to tweak here. So that's where it breaks. So we can say maybe like 800 and let's make another media query just because I want that sign in to show as much as it can with the full emblem or the full icon. Say 819 pixels and smaller. We'll say sign in user display block up here and sign in LI to display none just to make it look better. So right here, sign in LI. And we'll say display none. All right, that should be better. There we go. So now we have more showing, and then it goes down to just this icon for smaller screens. And then looks good there at 820, so that's good. Cool, that's what we want. And then now we can just go through different things, different screen sizes, and do portrait and landscape mode and see how we like it. I think it's looking good, guys. Yeah, so that's all we're doing. The real YouTube mobile gets a little more complicated than that, or they get rid of the whole search bar and then they click it and they use JavaScript to show it. We're just, again, I wanted to keep this simple in HTML and CSS, beginner friendly. So we're going to skip the JavaScript and just keep it like this, and then you can still search like that, okay? If you're interested in JavaScript, I have a lot of JavaScript videos. I teach JavaScript from the very beginning in my course, and we do JavaScript on other stuff. But I feel like when I do these build videos, if I put too much of the JavaScript, even though it's really cool, it kicks the complication notch up a lot on the tutorial, and I feel like a lot of people get discouraged and the views start to drop off or the watch time drops off around that time. So I want to make this really, like a good confidence builder video for people, not so much complexity, right? Because it's still fairly complicated making YouTube, right? Especially if you're new. But this looks really good, guys. So you can switch it from portrait to landscape mode, really view it on all the different devices in either way, in either mode. Okay, but it's looking good. And do a 678 plus, get big. Okay, I'm very happy with that. So let's move on now. We're gonna do the little bar over here, and we're gonna, again, kind of like we did up here, we're gonna make this kind of a separate entity, and then we're gonna put our videos and stuff over here so that it'll be like out of the normal document flow like we did up here. So you'll see what I mean as we do that. One thing I do want to do really quick is I want to go up to the body and I want to add some padding top, because, and we're gonna say like 70 pixels. And what that's going to do is, you can't see it now, but when we start putting our videos in, if I don't give that padding top, the videos would actually go underneath here because we have a Z index and it's fixed, and it would cut some stuff off. So by doing that, I just made some gap from like here to here that you guys can't really even see yet, but I'll show you. We can take it off once we get the videos in, so you'll see why we did that. I did want to do that now before I forget to add it though. And yeah, so we'll get started now on this little sidebar area. So let's go below the header. But you should still have a closing div here for the container. Remember, our container class, everything should still go in the container. So go below the closing header tag, and you should have one closing div there for the container. And we're going to make another div, and we're going to make it have a class. We'll say dot content dash layout for this div. And this is going to help us keep everything separate, and so that we can have a sidebar and then the rest of the content off to the side. So we'll do content layout, then we're gonna have an unordered list, and we're gonna give it a class of side menu. So we'll say ul dot side dash menu, and then in there we're gonna have an li. So we'll say li. We're gonna give it a class of side dash menu dash li, and then within there we'll have an anchor tag, and that's gonna have a class of side menu link. So we'll say side menu link. And then in there, we're going to start having our icons. So the first one is going to be just a home icon, so we'll grab that. So let's go back to Font Awesome, and we'll just search for home. So we got a house, and it's going to be dark, so we'll just grab this one, close enough. And we're going to click the styling palette and make it the LG or the large version. And then we'll go ahead and go back to our code and paste that right in here. And there we go. Now we got our house. Okay. And then below that, it needs to say the text of home. So go here and we'll say home. All right. And we'll stack that in just a second, and we'll make it so that the text is on the bottom, but we're going to do all the HTML first. So now we're going to copy this whole LI down 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to grab the other thing. So I don't have the shorts. I don't have all the rest of these icons available. We're not going to be able to really get it. So we're going to just kind of make our own, or get our own Font Awesome one. So for the shorts one, we'll just get like a play button. So we'll just say play. And we'll just use this button here, or this icon. And we'll just make them all the large version. Let's see. LG, copy. And then this is going to be right here. And this is going to say shorts. Yeah, shorts. So we'll go here. We'll say shorts. And you know what? Instead of that, we'll use like a camera. We'll use the play button for this one. So let's actually copy this. Boom. And then this will be subscriptions. And then let's just do video. There we go. We use this one, and we'll say large. Okay. And then we'll just put that here for shorts instead. All right, so now we got home, shorts, subscriptions, and then this one, I swear it said you don't see. So we'll do history down here. I thought it said user for some reason, but we'll do history. So we'll do, let's see if they have a history icon. Maybe I wonder if they just changed that. These websites have a thing of like changing everything a lot. We're not gonna be able to get it. Oh, that's probably why I just made it user, because I couldn't find a history one. So we'll just make ours a user. So, because I'm not gonna be able to get any icon for like history for free, or maybe a clock. Oh, okay. I guess we could do that. So let's just do this. Make it large. Copy that. That'll go here. We'll say history. Okay. Boom. So that's pretty much all the HTML we need for that area. So now we'll go ahead and we'll jump in and we'll do the CSS. All right, guys. So now let's add our CSS to our sidebar here so that it goes from that to looking something like this. Okay. So let's make a media query. Or it's not a media query, a comment for our side menu styles, and we'll put it right here to start. And we'll put side menu here. All right, and then let's grab our side menu class, which is right here. Copy that. We'll say dot side menu, and we'll give it a width of 72 pixels. And then we're gonna say display flex. And then we're going to say align items center. And then we're going to say flex direction column so everything stacks. Okay. And then we're going to do padding top of 0.5 rem to bring it down from the top a little bit. And then what we're going to also do here is we're going to say position fixed so it stays in place even when we scroll. And then we're going to say left 0.5 rem. And then we'll say top 70 pixels. And we're going to do something, we're going to say height. And this might be a little different, but we're going to use something called calc. And we're going to say 100 VH dash 70 pixels. And that means that we would let everything, when we scroll down, we'll let the bar scroll about 70 pixels before it just stops and it's fixed in place. And we're telling CSS to basically calculate where we are on the page, okay? So it looks kind of complicated, but once you use, like I said, once you use this stuff enough times, you'll get it. Then we'll say z-index 50 just to keep it on top of anything that could get in its way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our side menu LIs. Say side menu LI, copy that. And we're going to say font size 18 pixels. Say padding bottom 12 pixels. And we're going to say margin 0.5 rem top and bottom, 0 rem left and right. Just space them out a little bit more. And then we're going to grab our side menu link class. So all the links that the icons and everything are in. Say dot side menu link. And we're going to say color black. We're going to say display flex. Align items center. Flex direction column. Now everything is stacking how you want it. And then we're going to say font size 10 pixels. We want our text to be small like the real one. It could probably be a little bit bigger, maybe like 12. There we go. And then we're going to grab side menu link I. So let's just copy this, and then we're going to do I to select the icons that are in the side menu links. And we're going to say font size 18 pixels. And then we're going to say padding bottom 12 pixels. So now we've got our little side menu area. Maybe the padding bottom can be a little bit bigger. Maybe just 1 rem. Save. Let's just play with this here. Yeah, we'll just say 1 rem. Okay. And then maybe this can be 1 rem too. There we go. Let's give them some more separation. And now let's do a test to see if our fixed menus are working. So this is what it looks like on desktop. And I want to go to the body. Let's go to the body and let's say height 3000 pixels just to see if we can scroll down and have everything stay put. So here's our scroll bar. Let's scroll down. See how we're scrolling down? And the top bar and the sidebar aren't moving, so that's good. That's exactly what we want, so that's perfect. Okay? Very good. And then, let's see, guys. One thing I want to do is I want to make our menu come in a little bit more so that this lines up a little bit better. So what I'll do, I'm going to right-click and inspect. This is a good use of the developer tools here. I'm going to select the whole nav bar. So if you click this, this means selector button. I'm going to select, see how the whole thing lights up? I'm going to click in it, and then the styles come up over here, and then I can adjust this in or out if I want. Let's see. Oops, we want to control 1.5 right here. There we go. So we'll make it 2.5 rem so everything lines up nicely. So that's not going to save. It's just giving me a preview of what my change will look like. So let's go back here to the, what is it, main nav. And this is going to be 2.5 rem. We'll save, and now it'll be locked in. Now everything lines up a little bit better, right? And just like the real YouTube. See how the real one is? Everything lines up pretty straight. And now that's ours. Cool. That's it for the CSS of our side menu bar. And next up, we're going to now make this mobile responsive, which basically means we're just going to make it disappear on certain screens, because on small screens, we're not going to have a sidebar. So let's go ahead and grab our side menu right here. Copy this. And then starting at, let's see if it still looks good on 820. So let's go to the iPad Air. 820, and it still looks, yeah, it still looks okay on there. Huh, why is our sign-in not showing? That messed that up, huh? We're going to have to change that. See how our nav got messed up? Maybe because of this a little bit. We'll change that. So it still looks good on 820. What about on iPad mini 768? Yeah, it could still be there. Okay, so we'll say 767 and smaller. We're just going to say display none. So it'll be really simple. That's all we should have to do. So let's just paste this down here and we'll say display none on 767 and smaller. So now if we go down to like S8, okay, it won't be there. If we go to iPhone 12, it won't be there. And then if we go landscape, it'll come back because it's a big screen. So we got to change this though. This guy's all messed up. So I guess we're going to get rid of the sign in button sooner. So let's see. It's sign in LI display none. So you know what? Let's just get rid of these two. Rid of this whole media query. And we'll put it up here. There we go. That'll fix it. Something with this messed with that a little bit. But that's okay. That's a quick fix. Now everything should look good. Let's go back to the iPad Air. Yeah, it's better. Cool. All right, guys. So there's our sidebar now. Now, next up, we're almost there. There's still a decent amount of content to add, but not really because so all we have to do now is add each individual video. But all we really have to do is make one video with the thumbnail and then with all this info, and then we're going to copy and paste it several times, and then after that you're just going in and doing data entry, just changing the images and changing the text, but all the layout will remain. So we're going to do that, and then we have our shorts to do that with, and then we're done. Like a lot of the rest of this project is just going to be a lot of copy and paste, which is nice, and we'll be all set. So we'll do that in the next part here. We're going to do the actual videos, okay? All right, guys, so let's go ahead and add our actual videos. So they're going to look like this. We're going to have three across, just like regular YouTube. So we're going to do these top two sections first of 3 and 3, and then we'll move on to the shorts in the next video, and then we'll just copy paste the final two in the last video. So right now, and all we're going to do, guys, is we're going to make this first one. And all these videos and everything, I'll tell you how I got the thumbnails. These are all from my personal account. This is basically like my algorithm in the feed that I got when I was building this project for like what was on my home screen. So you can see from this like what my taste and stuff is, I guess. It's pretty much bodybuilding, Ozzy Osbourne stuff, because I was watching the Osbournes a lot. If you guys remember that reality show, like, and then he happened to like die. Oh, that hit me hard, man. I was like sad. I love that show, the Osbourne Show. If you guys have never watched it, if you're like younger, it's hilarious. And then Tucker Carlson on Sean Ryan, so Navy SEAL stuff. And then I watch Fortnite stuff sometimes. So you can kind of see a little glimpse into like what I watch entertainment wise. PBD podcast, Pat McAfee show. My interests are pretty standard for guys. It's either going to be bodybuilding or rock and roll, some Joe Rogan, Batman stuff, Dorian Yates, Blood and Guts. I usually watch workout stuff when I'm lifting. And I have like metal music turned up to the max, and then I'm watching like Dorian Yates work out while I work out. So that's why that stuff comes up. And then this is the kind of stuff that I listen to during the day. Podcast where I want to, figure out what's going on in the world, hear people's opinions, that stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and get our first video. So let me show you how I did this, because remember in the beginning I copied all the thumbnails for each video and the channel avatars, which are the little circle things, and they're all in here, okay? So how I got those, I'll show you that. Let me log in really quick. What in the holy hell? So how I got those, guys, is you can't just like some websites you can right click and copy an image down, but these aren't images. These are like living frames, how YouTube does it today, and they start playing the video when you hover over stuff. So it's not really like a still image. So what I did is I just took screenshots of each video, and that's why you'll notice some videos are like a little bit taller than others. Like if you really look, you can't really see at first glance, but these aren't all perfectly symmetrical like the original YouTube. And same thing with the shorts. There's some taller, some that are a little bit shorter, because it just relied on me taking screenshots. And obviously I'm human error. You're not going to take the same size screenshot every time for each thumbnail, but I did my best. I mean, I think it's at first glance, you really don't even notice it. But so what I did, so I'm on Mac. So Mac, if you hit Shift Command and the number 4, you get this little crosshair that shows up. And then I just took screenshots of each thumbnail like this. And then the rounded corners, I didn't worry about getting those because we're going to do that with border radius ourselves. We're going to make the corners rounded. So I would just take a screenshot like that and then save it to my downloads and then drag it over as an image into my folder. So I just took screenshots of like whatever videos and thumbnails were up here. And then to get the little channel avatar images for each channel, I did the same thing, guys. I just did Shift Command 4 on Mac, and I just did my little crosshair. I would take a screenshot like that. Boom, that would, and then with CSS we can make it look just like that. As long as you have the screenshot which gets turned into an image, you're good to go. If you're on Windows, you can do the same thing with the I believe it's called the snipping tool, right? The little, see this icon, or just type in snipping tool to your Windows search bar. Snipping tool right there. You can do the same thing, guys. Just take little screenshots with the snipping tool, save them all, and name them whatever you want. Or like I said, you can just use all the images and thumbnails I already have, which you can download from GitHub and just use my stuff. Or you can make it more personalized to like what your videos actually are. So that's how I got all the images, and that's how you can get images for stuff whenever you want to and you can't save them. Just screenshot them and save them, guys. It's that simple. And so that's how I got everything. So now that you know how I did that and the workflow that I used to get everything, let's actually do it here. So let's go back to our HTML, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to go below our UL. So we're still going to be in content layout div. It's going to wrap everything along with our container. Yeah. But we're going to go, so let's select the UL. Right below this UL, we're going to make a main tag, because this is going to be like the main content area of the page, and we're going to try to be at least a little semantic here with our HTML tags. So let's make our main tag. And then in our main tag, we'll make a class of videos container. We'll say videos container. Okay, and this is where all of our videos, at least the top half of the videos, are going to go. So we've got our videos container, and now within their videos container, each video is going to have its own div called video. And then in there, we're going to have an image with the class of YT-thumbnail. Just like that. And then we're going to start adding our thumbnails. So I have them numbered 1 through like 16. And I think I only ended up using 12 of the images anyway. Yeah, I got like 16. I thought 12 was enough, so I just stopped there at 12 when I actually built it. So that's my first thumbnail. It's going to be the Osborne's one for the Osborne's channel. For the alt text, you can just put YT thumbnail, or I think I just left mine blank. I didn't really care, but whatever. There's the alt text. So how it's going to go is we have the image, and then down here we're going to have another container like right below the image, but within the video container for like the video info, right? So let's go down here, and we'll make a div, and we'll call it video info container. And then within there, we're going to have the avatar image and then the text. So, and it's all going to be, and then we're going to have to flex them side by side. So it's going to be image, then another div for just all the text. So let's do that. So I'm going to make a div in here. I'm going to call it YT avatar container. And then I'm going to put the image in here, another image, and it's going to have a class of .channel avatar. And then for the alt text, you can just put channel avatar. And then in here on the source, we're going to put image. And then for this one, I think I named them all for which channel they are. So this one's Osborne's channel pick. Save. There it is. See, it looks just like the real one. These are all just screenshots. They look good. So then below the so now we have our video info container. We have the image, and then we're going to flex it side by side with the rest of the info. So we're going to have another class, and we're going to call it YT-video-text. And then we're going to have an H4, and we're going to say YT video title. And then I'm just going to give it a title, Osborne's 24-hour marathon. I think I went back just to see what the actual titles were, just to have something legit in here. So Osborne's 24-hour marathon, full episodes. Okay. Oop, not equal. I'm going to say dash. Okay. There's the title. And then below it, we have the name of the channel and then the views. So let's do those. So below our H4, we'll do a paragraph, and we'll just have the class of channel name. And it'll be the Osborne's. And then below that, we'll have another paragraph, and it's going to have a class of video views. And then this was 28K views. Whoops, lowercase. 28K views 1 month ago. All right, so there's all the data for the video. So now what we can do is we're going to make 5 more of these videos. So we have videos container video. So from here where the video starts, the video container starts and ends, it's right there. So I'm going to just copy this down 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos. Perfect. All right, guys, so now we'll add our CSS to make our videos go across using grid. So we'll get that done now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select our content layout div that we made a little bit ago, right here. And we're going to copy that, and we're going to go up here. And we can actually put it above side menu because it actually appears first before the side menu. And we're just going to do display, flex, align items, flex start. And we're going to say column gap, which is padding left and right of 1 rem or 16 pixels, same thing. And we're going to say margin top of 0.5 rem. And what that did is it's going to ensure that all of our video content goes side by side here with the sidebar, okay, when we use grid. So we're going to use grid now for the videos container. Remember, we have a video container, so let's make a whole other comment below side menu, and we'll say videos container. And then what we're going to do for videos container is we're going to say, let's grab it. So grab videos container here, copy that, say dot videos container. And now we're going to use grid so that we display the videos 3 across. So we're going to say display grid We're going to say grid template columns, repeat 3 1FR, and that's going to make them go 3 across. Even though not, they're cut off, but we're going to resize everything, so we're getting there. And then we're going to say justify items, center, align items, center. And then we're going to say margin left, 1 rem to bring it off of the bar here a little bit. And then we're going to say column gap 1 rem so that they have some space in between each other like the real YouTube videos. And then we'll say row gap of 2 rem. So padding top and bottom is what that basically means. So there's some space here now, okay? So now we just got to resize each video area and the thumbnail and everything, and we'll be good to go. So let's grab our next class, or our next thing that we want to actually grab, which is basically, it's not the video, but it's going to be the YouTube thumbnail, YT thumbnail class, because our images are really what's controlling how big everything is. So we're going to say .yt thumbnail, and we're going to say width 100%, and then just doing that right away, it's telling the videos like, hey, you can only take up 100% of your container, so don't go off the page. And now it's obeying that, because remember our container class is here, and it's providing our padding on the side so it can't go all the way over, okay? And we'll fix this here in just a second. So that already makes it look 10 times better. We're going to say each video thumbnail gets a border radius of 10 pixels to give them that rounding like the real YouTube videos. And then we'll make them all, they're not links, they don't go to real videos, but we'll say cursor pointer just so we get the pointer when we hover over them. Just for looks, you know. Next, we're going to grab our video info container, which contains all of the avatar and the video information. So let's grab right here, video info container. And we'll put that right here. Say .video info container. And we'll say display flex. And then we'll say margin top 10 pixels to bring all the info down from the thumbnail a little bit. See that? Now it's all side by side. And then we'll say line height of 1.5, and that's going to put some space in between all these different, the title, the channel, and the views. So we'll save, and now they're spaced out a little bit, more readable, just like the real ones. Next, we'll do the YouTube avatar itself. So I think it's wrapped in the YT avatar container. It is, which is just the circle image for the channel. So let's just grab that. So we'll say .yt avatar container, and all we're going to do is just give it some padding to the right. So we'll say padding right 5 pixels, and it just pushes everything over a little bit here. So it looks like the real YouTube. Okay, just like that. And then last, the video views are kind of like a gray color, so let's do that. See how it's like gray on the bottom? Go to the real one. They're like lighter gray, so let's do that. So let's grab our video views area or paragraph. Copy that class, say .video views, and we'll say color, hashtag 606060, save, and now they're that kind of lighter gray. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to say our margin left might need to make it, we've got to bring this over off of that. Off of the sidebar. We've got to bring our videos off the sidebar. So to do that, let's right click inspect, and let's get out of mobile view. Let's grab the videos container for all the videos, and margin, let's see, margin left 2 rem. And let's just we'll do margin left 4 rem, so that it brings it off of this over here. So we got that nice gap. So let's change our margin left to 4 rem for that, from 2 rem. Save. Okay. So now let's add some media queries for when we get to smaller screens while we're here. Because we eventually, at the real YouTube, they go 2 across, and then they go 1 across for mobile screens. So we got to basically change that. Not too hard. So what we'll do here is we We really need to affect the YouTube thumbnail pictures themselves first as far as sizing goes. So I'm going to grab this YT thumbnail and I'm going to say 1024 and lower. We're going to keep everything, but the width, we're going to have it be 95% on 1024 and lower, just so it'll continue to go 3 across nicely. So if we right click, inspect, let's go to 1024, which will be like an iPad mini in landscape mode. As soon as we hit, because you see it's already getting kind of scrunched up here. So at 1023 and lower, we're going to change the grid to just make them go 2 across. So let's grab our videos container. And then let's say we're just going to change let's leave the margin there. But we're mainly just going to change the grid template column layout. So 2 and 1, that can stay. Let's say 2 across 1 FR now instead for 1023 and lower. So that'll be like a 14 max turn sideways. Now it'll go 2 across. Let's do 6 rem margin left for that. So that it pushes over more. We can probably just do 5. So there's some more space there. Just got to keep adjusting stuff as you get down screen sizes. So now they'll just be 2 across at that rate. What else? Once we get to 767 and lower, there's going to be no. So let's see how this looks at 768. Let's go to iPad mini. Okay. So for iPad mini, we'll make the margin left 6 rem. See, how does this look for, let's do this for 1024. So let's say videos container. Oops, put that up here. Rid of that. Do margin left on this one. There we go, that's better. Okay. And then it'll go to 2 across. Okay, good. That's what we want. And then right after this is the last screen size where we're going to have the sidebar. We'll say at 657 and lower. Oh no, probably 767. Let's go to S8. Let's just see how stuff looks. So 767 and lower, we're going to want to get rid of the margin left because we don't want all of this pushed over when there's no reason. So let's do this. Let's say we'll grab YouTube thumbnail because I want that to be 100%. So let me grab these two, copy them down, and we'll say 767 and lower. I'm going to make some changes. This is going to go back to 100%. This is going to go to 0. So that, there we go. Now they're nice and centered because that bar is not going to be there anyway, so that's good. And then, let's see, probably 657 and lower, we're going to go to single video. So yeah, we'll do that. Let's go up here, and you're going to grab videos container again. So let's copy that. Go right here, go down. We'll say 1 FR so that they're just singled up on the smaller screens of 657 and lower. So now if we go down to mobile, boom, it'll just be 100% right there, just like that. And that should be it for the whole videos area to be mobile. Let's see, just look at a couple devices here. They should just go across 100% just like that. Yeah, that's fine. Go bigger, get the sidebar. So just little tweaks here and there, guys. Hopefully you can see we're just looking, and if I need to tweak stuff, we'll just tweak it right on the fly, but everything is looking really good now. So we can even do this. We can start big screen, and then you can see as it goes smaller how everything resizes in real time with our media queries. Look at that. It goes down. And as we scroll up and down, everything stays put like it should. It's perfect. Get that. Boom, boom, boom. Cool, right? Very good. So that's the videos area. So next up, the videos area is done. Now we're just going to do the shorts area. So we're just going to add 5 shorts and then do really similar things that we just did. All right, guys. So we're almost at the end here. We just got to do our shorts area and then style that up, and then really just copy pasting from there, and we're pretty much done with this little project here. So let's go ahead and get cracking on that. So let's go back. So we have so far in ours, right? Just got the 6 videos. So the shorts are going to go right here, the shorts area. So we're going to have the shorts icon, the shorts title, and then the actual shorts area here with the titles. And shorts are, they're simple. They usually just have like a video title and then how many views it got. So, And again, these are just the shorts that were showing when I was building the project on my own algorithms. That's what's here. So let's go to our index.html, and we will go to, so we're going to go below this last div, but above the main tag, and that's where our shorts area is going to start. So what we'll do here is first we're going to do the little title area with the icon and the title. So I'm going to make a div, and I'm just going to call it shorts title dash container. And then in here we'll have an image, and it's going to be the shorts icon. So I'm going to say image, and it's the shorts icon. And then for the alt text, I'll just do shorts icon. And then next to it, we're going to have an H3 is what we're going to make it. And I'm going to give that a class of shorts. Shorts title. And it's just going to say shorts. So let's save and see what we got here. There it is, right here. Okay. And you might be saying like, how did you get the shorts icon? I thought you couldn't do that. Well, what I did to get the shorts icon, because I wanted to get the real one, is again, I did my little screenshot, Command-Shift-4 on Mac, or the snipping tool on Windows, and I just took a screenshot of the icon like that, and I just saved it as an image, and then used that as the shorts image. So that's how we got the actual shorts little icon. And then what we're gonna do is we'll style that little area up with CSS really quick. So let's make a shorts area. Let's copy this comment, and we'll go down below the videos container, and we'll say YT shorts. And then we're going to do the shorts title container first. Style that. So let's copy shorts title container. So we'll say dot shorts title container. And then what we'll do is we're going to make the icon and the title go side by side. So we'll say display flex, align items center. We'll give them a column gap, so some padding left and right of 1 rem. Then we'll say margin, and we'll say 3 rem top, 0 rem right, 2 rem bottom, 0 rem left. Okay. And now they're side by side here. Cool. And then let us do, we actually might want to make this, see, top, right, bottom, left. So like 5 rem left. There we go. So we'll do 5 rem left so that it lines up with our videos. Next, we're going to do like the actual shorts area container. So it'll be right below here. And we're going to say dot YT shorts container. And then each one of them within the containers is going to have another container for each short. So we'll just call it dot YT dash short. It's going to have the thumbnail and the info and everything in there. And then so within that, we're going to have a class of YT short. So dot YT short. Oops, what did we do? So then within our actual short, we're going to have the thumbnail, right? So we'll have an image. We'll give it a class of YT short thumbnail, YT dash short dash thumbnail. And then I'm going to go into my image folder. I'm going to search for short. Let's see, my first one was YT short 1. And I'm going to just, in the alt text, we'll just put YT short. Save. And then there's the first one. And then below it, we got to put, so below our image, we got to put some more info. So we have to put the title and the views, right? So we'll do a paragraph with the class of YT short title. And then for the title for the first one, it's Gene Simmons hyped up before the show. So if you don't know who Kiss is or who Gene Simmons is, God help you. Look it up. And then we're going to do the views. So we'll do a paragraph. We'll say dot short views. So short views. And then for the first one, it's going to be 4.8K views. So do 4.8K views. Okay. So there's our first short. So let's just copy this down 4 more times. There's going to be 5 in total. So we got right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. There they are. And then what we'll do is style this up so that they're side by side and all of that good stuff. So let's grab our YT Shorts container here and style it. So let's copy that. So YT Shorts container. And we're going to say display grid. We'll say grid template columns. Repeat 5. 1FR. Okay, now they're going across. And then we'll say justify content center, align items center. And then we're going to give them a column gap of 1 rem, so they're separated a little bit. And then we'll give them margin bottom of 3 rem. Okay, so that's what we got so far. And then let's give this, let's say margin left of 2 rem. And then let's give this a, we got to push this over. So let's say margin left of 5 rem. There we go, just to get it off of there. And then each YouTube short, so let's grab each YouTube short individually. So we'll say YT short. And we'll say, we'll give that a width of 100% so they only go across their container. And then let's grab the YouTube short thumbnail. So it should be all the images that have that class for the shorts. Say what? .YT short thumbnail. Say border radius. And we'll say 10 pixels. Width 100%. There we go. So that's what they look like now, all nice and in line with decent width on them and the border radius, just like the shorts should have. Now we got to style up the title and the views area. So let's do that. And you can kind of see what's happening if you just look at these ones over here. We got to keep this big so you guys can see all the code that's going on here. So let's grab our YT short title. So all the titles get styled. Say .YT short title. And we'll just give it some margin top of 6 pixels. So not too much, just a little bit of breathing room there. We'll give them a font size of 15 pixels. And then we're going to grab the views, which should be right below. So we'll grab the short views class. Say dot short views. And this is going to be font size 13 pixels. Color is going to be 606060. And margin top of 8 pixels. Boom, just like that. So now our shorts are looking like they should, right? Now we just got to make media queries so that they stack accordingly. So what we're going to do, because we're going to make some disappear. When it gets to smaller screens, it's just going to show 3 YouTube shorts. And when it gets to even smaller screens, it's just going to show 2. So we're going to do that by making them display none as we get smaller. So to do that, we're going to go into our HTML. And what we're going to do is add a class to our last YouTube short. So we're going to say, we're going to add a class of desktop dash short. And same thing to the one above it. We're going to add desktop short to that one too. Okay. And then we're going to add one more class to the next one called mobile short. And you'll see we're going to use those right now as we use the media queries. So let's just check our width or how it looks on devices here. So let's go to 1024 to start. So iPad mini 1024. So it looks good there. So at 1023, we'll start making it have 3 across because it is starting to get a little scrunched up. So to do that, let's just grab our YT shorts container and let's go down to the 1023. And we're going to do repeat 3 1FR on smaller screens. So just to check that, if we go to like the iPhone 12 or let's do the 14 Pro, it'll just be 3 across. And then we also have to make these other 2 disappear, right? Because we only want to show 3. So, and we're also going to need to use some... So let's grab our desktop short. So I think everything can pretty much stay the same. So let's just delete the rest of this. We don't need double styles there, just what we're changing. And let's select our desktop short class that we just made, and we'll make it display none starting at that screen size so that the other 2 disappear. We'll say .desktop short, and we'll say display none. So now we just have the 3 going across, which is what we want. And then let's see how that looks on smaller, like iPad mini screens. The 3 across, does that still work good? Does. Yep, that's good. So we'll be doing we'll go down to probably like our 657 media query, and then we'll just make them do 2. So we'll say, let's grab our YT shorts container, copy this down to the 657, and then we'll say 2 1FR. And then let's see how that looks. So let's go to like a mobile phone like this. Nope. Here, let's see. Does it look good on 740? Yeah, it looks fine. Got to fix that margin left though. So let's actually go up there and fix that. See, remember we have the margin left pushing over. We can make it 0. So let's just do that so YT shorts container. Say margin. Whoops. Copy that in here. Say margin left 0. There we go. So now, and then same thing. We're going to do the same thing for the title area. So YT short title container. Right here, shorts title container. We have to have margin left 0. Starting here. And we'll say top, right, bottom, left. So this will go to 0. There we go. All right. How are we looking? Looking good. I'm getting there. So when we go down to, let's grab our shorts container one more time. YT shorts container. 2 1FR. Oh, and then we got to make the other one disappear. So we're going to grab the mobile. So we have 2 1FR already. We want this one to go away. So what did we make that one? Mobile short or something like that. Yeah, mobile short. So let's grab this class. We're just going to make it display none on these screen sizes. So we'll say .mobile short display none. There we go. That's good. And I think we're going to keep it 2 on all screen sizes. Because this is 360 and it still looks fine. So that's fine. So all in all, I think that's it for the shorts area. Can do the drag test, as I like to call it. So start out big, full screen, and then go down, 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 down. Okay. So 3, back to 5, 3, back to 2, and that's it. So that's it for the shorts area, guys. So let's just go ahead while we're here, and we'll just copy down the videos area one more time. So let's see, grab my videos container, starts there and ends down here. So let's just copy all this because we're just duplicating everything we just did. We already have the styles in, and we're just going to put it below the shorts container. So here's where the shorts start, and then we just want to go right above the main tag with 6 more videos. Paste those in. Boom. And everything's already styled. Cool. And then we can take off the, we know that this stuff is working, so we can take off the body height that we have of 3,000 pixels. We don't need that scroll bar there. We'll have it there naturally now. Okay. See that? So now all we're going to do is add in our data for each video. So we got to change text and images. That's it. So I'm not going to do all of them with you. I'll do 2 videos with you, and then I'll do a couple of the shorts with you, and then you can pause the video and fill in all the stuff you want, because now you have the skeleton and it's all mobile responsive. You just got to fill in the different data for different channels. So we'll do that now. So let's do a couple of these videos together, entering in some different stuff. So let's go up to our first YouTube video container. So videos container, here's the first video. Here's the second one. So I'm going to change this one to image YT thumbnail 2, which is right here. Save. That's the Sean Ryan one. I'm going to change the channel avatar. I'm going to go to image, and this is Sean Ryan avatar. So see how it's all changing right here. And then change the text. And I'm just going to copy and paste it from my other one. I don't want to write it all out. I'm just going to copy the title on my other screen, paste it here. Tucker Carlson responding to the biggest conspiracies in the world right now in the world right now, SRS. So there's the title. They should say Sean Ryan Show. And then this has like 2 million views. So we'll do 2M views 1 month ago, whatever you want to put there. And there's that one. So then if we make it full screen, see that? That's all you have to do to change your stuff now, guys. That's all we're doing now. We're just filling in stuff. So I'll do one more. I'll do the next one down. So say image YT. I'm looking for thumbnail number 3. And you can go in any order you want. If you're using mine, it doesn't really matter. Third one, that's the Fortnite guy, that I Know Duffy. If any of you play Fortnite, watch that channel, I Know Duffy. He does 0 builds, which is what I play, but he's solo queues against squads of 4, and his movement is just so crazy, bro. Like, he just murders. Like, he goes 1-on-4 consistently and wins. Like, it's so fun to watch. Very good player. So I Know Duffy, 25K views. Just copying all this over from my other design that I've already done. There we go. Then we just got to change the channel avatar to the I Know Duffy one. So we'll say image, and then we'll say I Know Duffy avatar right here. Boom. And now it's that one. Okay? So on and so forth. Just go ahead and do that. Through the magic of editing, I'm going to have all mine filled in and done here. So 3, 2, 1. And just like that, guys, I've got all my videos filled in with the correct info for the different ones. Cool. And again, I just did the same thing. We just did. That's all you have to do is fill in the information now, okay? Now let's do the shorts really quick. So we got one short done. We'll do one more together, and then through the magic of editing, I'll fix all the rest. Let's see. We got our first one here, our first YouTube short, and this is our second one. So let's go to the image. We're just going to change the image. We're going to say YT. Oops, say image, YT short 2, save. And there it is. It's Tony Iommi. And if you don't know who Tony Iommi is, he's the lead guitarist of Black Sabbath and the band, founder of the band. So, and if you don't know who he is, God help you, look him up. And then the title is going to be Tony Iommi Vibrato Chords. It's got 262K views. Okay, boom. And then what else? We'll do the next 3 through the magic of editing here. And ta-da, I got my other 3 shorts here. So that should be it for the project, guys. If we look now, it's all mobile responsive. All of our shorts, everything is different. Again, at first glance, like nobody, if you put this in front of, one of your family members and said, look, I'm on YouTube, and then they tried to click around and they're like, wait, why isn't it working? They wouldn't know. This looks pretty close, right? Which is all we're trying to do here. So again, guys, very simple. This wasn't too difficult, just a lot of copy and pasting. Once we got the skeleton down, it was pretty easy. And the nice thing about YouTube is like there's really no footer for us to make or anything, because all they do now is infinite scroll videos. So there's not any other really sections to make. That's pretty much all this is they've got their side nav, they've got their sidebar, their navigation that's sticky, and then just the content with infinite scroll. So super easy. Again, guys, really quick, the Black Friday sale, if you're watching this during holidays 2025, it's still going on. We have 50% off the lifetime access to the Full Stack Developer Complete Web Developer course. We teach you Full Stack PHP, or 25% off monthly. If you go to the landing page or you click Buy Now, you'll be taken right to the purchase page, and you can view all the lessons. You can preview some of the videos if you're not sure if you want to buy the course yet, but take advantage of this because this is going away 12/5/2025. Also, guys, completely for free, if you want to download this, there's a link in the description for this as well. This is the Practical Web Dev Roadmap, no BS edition. It teaches you, it tells you basically what to learn of each programming language, how much of it to learn, bare minimum, and stuff to avoid so that you don't get stuck in this loop of trying to learn web development in your basement for 2 or 3 years before you actually try to get a job. So go ahead and check this out completely free. It's, a simple 5-minute read. Read it, follow it. It will save you years. It's completely for free. So also check that out, guys. All right, so thank you so much for watching this tutorial with me again, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.